Path of Exile 2, the dark and gritty action RPG that I have been hooked on since release, just got the first major content update, adding a new playable class, new skills and ways to power them up, some exciting new challenges for both your story playthrough and the endgame, and way more, so lots to go over. Thanks to Path of Exile 2 for sponsoring the video. You can check out the game via the link in the video description, which really supports the channel too. So Path of Exile 2's early access launched with 6 playable classes, and they are now adding a brand new one called the Huntress, a dexterous warrior who wields a spear as her main weapon. The Huntress has many unique features that set the class apart from the 6 available at early access launch, the biggest of which is that she is a melee ranged hybrid fighter. Spears have extended range and include a short dash on melee attacks, but they can also be thrown to harass enemies from range. That's just the regular attacks though. You also have exploding and electrifying spears, can leap in and out of combat, shoot tornadoes, and use these skills together to set up some crazy combos. Next to your weapon, you also have access to a buckler in your offhand, a small round shield that grants you access to the parry skill. Parrying in Path of Exile works differently than you're likely used to, as it does not rely on timing. Instead, you hold down the button to parry all incoming attacks with a counter attack that leaves a mark on enemies. Several of your skills can then consume this mark to trigger extra effects, like a damaging explosion for example. Now parrying is not an automatic I win button, as like regular shields, each attack you parry also builds your stagger meter, and if that fills up, you're stunned and left exposed. Another really cool feature of the Huntress is that she can tame certain enemies, after which they will become available as a companion. Enemies with the beast tag can be tamed when defeated, and magic and rare type beasts that spawn with special modifiers will retain these if you tame them. So if you find a really powerful beast and manage to take it out, you can then use it to help you in combat. But the Huntress is not the only one who gets to make some new friends, as Dawn of the Hunt also adds new skills for the other classes in early access. One of these is Bind Spectre, which allows you to capture the soul of almost any enemy in the game and have them fight for you instead. They work similar to other minions, which means they cost a resource called Spirit to summon, and obviously the stronger a creature, the more Spirit it's going to cost. But that also means these specters respawn shortly after they die, and they can be modified with support gems to make them even more powerful. If enslaving someone's soul is a bit much for you, there's also a new skill that lets you summon a Roa mount. This giant bird will fight alongside you, but you can also hop on its back and take it for a ride. Certain weapon types, like bows or spears, can still be used while you are mounted, and attacking while mounted does not decrease your movement speed at all. So you can rain down fire while moving at regular speed, although you do have to be extra careful, as enemies can knock you off, which will leave you stunned on the ground. So that can already make regular mobs dangerous, but Dawn of the Hunt also adds a ton of new encounters, challenges and bosses that I want to go over too. Oh, and if you like the video so far, totally leave a like and subscribe for more videos like this. Now when exploring the world in the campaign, you can now come across these Asmarian wisps, which are these animal spirits that will start to flee when they spot you. When monsters come into contact with them, they will be imbued with different powers depending on the spirit you are chasing. For example, the spirit of the owl imbues enemies with cold damage, and they also create a wind vortex when they die. Eventually, the spirit will find a rare monster and possess it, granting it even more modifiers than it already has. But when defeating this possessed creature, you'll have a chance to find a new type of item that you can slot into your equipment to give it unique buffs. You can increase the rewards from this activity by making sure the spirit imbues as many monsters as possible before it finds the rare creature, and there are even sacred wisps with increased challenges and rewards. One example given was the spirit of the fox, which upgrades normal monsters to magic, magic foes to rares, and rare enemies into bosses, so that will really put your skills to the test. There's also a level, or a map as it's called in the endgame, that will contain tons of these spirits, so I'm very excited to see how crazy that is going to get. By the time you reach the endgame, you will also have unlocked your Ascendancy class, which is a specialization that adds their own unique skills and passives. The new Huntress class launches with 2 of these, the Ritualist and the Amazon. The Occult Ritualist can perform a ritual sacrifice on a rare monster she has defeated, which grants you some of their modifiers for a short time. The battle-hardened Amazon, on the other hand, has an interesting unique mechanic called weak spots, which when unlocked show these highlighted parts on a boss's health bar. When a boss has an open weakness, aka their health is in a highlighted zone, you increase your damage by 50%. So some amazing boss killing potential here. Some existing classes also get a new third ascendancy with this update, which includes the really cool Smith of Kitana Tava for the warrior. This battlesmith can temper their weapon before battle, triggering explosions on your first few attacks. And there is also a skill that restricts you to only wearing normal armor, so without any stat or damage buffs, but then you can handpick what buffs you want from the skill tree, effectively crafting your own piece of gear. The tactician is a mercenary ascendancy focused on team play, pinning down enemies with most attacks and sharing a percentage of your weapon damage with allies in range. And the undead lich ascendancy for the witch is also very unique, as you can pick a skill gem and slot part of your soul in it. This makes the skill much more powerful, but the mana cost will also be greatly increased if you run out of energy shield. That of course becomes a bigger problem when your enemies become more dangerous, and especially the endgame will of course throw some big challenges your way. One of the coolest new additions are Rogue Exiles, which are NPC characters that function more like a player character. They use the same skills as you and have much more advanced AI, so fighting them almost feels like a PvP encounter. And just like you, they use gear, including unique items which they will drop if you manage to beat them. These exiles have a chance to appear in any endgame map you play, so you always want to be ready for the challenge. Speaking of maps, there's also a big and interesting change in how these work overall. When you enter the endgame, you'll unlock the Atlas, a huge world map with different nodes representing maps or levels that you have to complete to move on to the next node. New for Dawn of the Hunt are corrupted nexuses, special nodes that corrupt areas around them, which increases the challenge by adding special modifiers. Conquering the nexus by defeating one of 3 unique bosses that spawns at the end of the map will cleanse the surrounding nodes, which also adds new monsters, new modifiers, and a new boss unique to these types of maps. Since both corrupted and cleansed maps have unique rewards that only drop from them, you have to make a choice. Do you go straight for the nexus and complete the other maps in a cleansed state, or do you play the corrupted maps and save the nexus for last? Next to these special modified maps, individual levels sometimes have special features or challenges too. The Feral Megaliths map has you channeling energy into this Stonehenge-like circle, which can then be used to trigger a boss gauntlet consisting of 10 waves that become increasingly more difficult. There are many more to discover, and they'll of course also grant you tons of new rewards, as over 100 new unique items are being added with this update as well. There's some very powerful stuff here, like a set of monk ropes that grants you 3 powerful elemental buffs and ignores enemy resistances to elements provided they are close to you. On a final note, if you've already played a ton before, this update will not wipe characters or progression. While it is recommended to make a new character and play in the new seasonal league, it is not required, and you'll still have access to features like Rogue Exiles or the new Ascendancy Classes. And that's far from everything being added in this new update. There are over 100 new support gems which can be used to modify existing skills by adding projectiles, allowing attacks to trigger twice after a short delay, and other useful things. 2 of my favorites are Hemocrystals, which consume the bleeding effect on enemies to create these exploding blood crystals, and Enormity, which increases the health, damage, and most importantly the size of your minions. There are new types of strongboxes, which are loot chests with their own combat challenge you need to complete to open them, and the new recombination mechanic allows you to combine 2 items, picking perks from each one for a chance to create the perfect weapon or armor piece. So if you haven't tried the game yet, now is the perfect time to jump into Path of Exile 2's early access. Again, check out the game via the special link in the video description. That would really support the channel as well. A like on the video would be awesome, and you can watch our class guide for the other 6 classes by clicking on the screen. I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.